disruptive.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. So continuing the coverage of the post-election Trump win, Kamala defeat, meltdown that's on mainstream media and also across YouTube, as we're about to see here. I know it's a little late. We've been having technical difficulties. I've already explained it numerous times, but the show must go on, as they say. And we've seen, you know, MSNBC, CNN having conundrums, having fits, and doing dramatic theatrics like it's the vicious point of a soap opera, trying to figure out what the hell is going on without actually having the acknowledgement or just having the pureness of interacting with the people, maybe talking to these people, maybe being informed of the voting population and the struggles that they're dealing with, why they came out to Trump in mass droves. Failing to do so because they just want to blame, you know, racism, sexism, tirades, this, that, dumb women, dumb this, da-da-da-da-da. Just throwing 9 ways to Sunday. And it's also affected a lot of major streamers. Because as you know, there's a lot of big major platforms on the side of Kamala Harris. And one of the big ones that I can mention here in the quote-unquote bread tube, I think they call it, where the Democratic vote base, you know, gets its outsider media, even though it's not outsider media, is TYT. Now, TYT is notorious for having, you know, big reactionary dilemmas. I think 2016, they had the big reactionary dilemma where they misinformed people, they lied to their audience, they try to guide people and saying, well, you got to vote Hillary Clinton because Trump's going to be this fascist and we can move Hillary Clinton to the left. We can move Joe Biden to the left. Which never turned out to be the case. That was never going to be the point of the of the party, and has blown back at every point in turn. Just like the Justice Democrats that Cenk Uygur and Kyle Kulinski created to infiltrate the Democratic Party and change things up. It didn't. The only thing that changed was the people that went into that party. AOC was going to bring on the ruckus. Now she barely mentions it. She's part of that establishment. She's part of the mainstream. It really is a cult. It's a devious cult. It's the political party duopoly. And here's TYT having this extraordinary meltdown after the many times a network like his has deliberately lied to its audience, attacked people, and boasted the most of the Democratic base. Because keep in mind, TYT, this outsider media, is brought to you by big donors like Jeffrey Katzenberg, who paid them $24 million to boast the Democratic mainstream. And now here's Cenk Uygur in his best Oscar-winning moment, having the meltdown of the century post-election. Listen to this.
These Democratic leaders are simpletons. They're servants of the donor class. So they go in there like, oh, donor, give me money, please. And I made an ad. I'm Kamala Harris. I'm full of joy. Okay, well, what did that get you? And they say, oh, Jake, you're too angry. Too angry? What? You think, does Donald Trump look like he's kind? Does he look like he's in a good mood? I mean, no, people want some sort of reaction from their politicians. They want them to represent them, to fight for them. But that has never occurred to a Democrat outside of Bernie Sanders, and probably we never will. So look, there's no.
And why would that be, Cenk Uygur? Why would that be? Maybe it's up to voters, instead of just telling people they have to vote a certain way, they have to hold accountable those politicians and get them to earn those votes. I think I've heard that before on your network by a guy by the name of, oh, what's his name? He has a popular show now outside of your garbage. I think his name is Limmy Lore. No, Donnie Glore. Oh, Jimmy Dore. When he told you in 2016 that Hillary Clinton had to earn your vote, that I'm with her is not a campaign strategy. telling people I'm with her. No, she's supposed to be with you. She's supposed to earn your vote. She has to come out and earn it. That's the whole point of campaigns. That's the whole point of running a Democratic foundation base, is that you have to earn the votes of people. You just can't expect them to fall into line and expect the best from them, which is what TYT and Cenk Uygur and Anti-Imperialism and the rest of those gang expect people to believe, because they've been brought to you by Democratic donors. Oh, just keep falling into that trap, Everything is awful with Donald Trump. Everything's awful. These people are so awful. Just keep voting blue no matter who. Things are going to change. And now he's having this uplift meltdown. Why are Democrats not responding to the people? Maybe instead of making smeared attacks at Jimmy Dore and falsehoods, consider his 2016 speech. I listened to that, and that's what kind of red-pilled me or white-pilled me. I don't know what. I'm confused on the colors, but anyway, let's see the rest of this.
I have no interest in listening to a single Democratic politician ever again. They can go kiss my ass. They can do whatever they want. And we never listen to them anyway. And they hate us because we're right and they're wrong. They're always wrong. And they hate us for being right, okay? So, but they're not gonna learn. You have to beat them in a primary. That's your only hope. And so if you say it's super hard to beat them in a primary because of the lying sons of bitches on mainstream media who will smear you to no end, who will fight harder against progressives and populists than Republicans or Donald Trump or anyone.
And what about your lies? What about the lies and assertions you made? How you lied about Syria, how you lied about Russiagate, how you lied about Ukraine, how you continue to lie to the general public, how you continue to lie and then attack people. They want to attack. He's notorious for attacking Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan was right about ivermectin. He made that assertion like, I'm going to go fight him in a cage. Roar. They made absurd claims. They attacked people like Jimmy Dore. They attacked Aaron Mate because, God forbid, a journalist going over to Syria and winning an award for observing what happened in Syria and reporting accurately is such a dangerous threat to them. And it is a dangerous threat to them because TYT is not journalism. TYT is basically another form of TMZ. In fact, TMZ, I think, has better journalistic standards than these guys. That's how sad it is. That's how sad it is. And now I feel like the reason this anger and this fit is going on is because all the times that they lied to their audience, and their audience has even picked up on this. Their audience has attacked them numerous times on their own show. I feel like now Cenk Uygur is having some self-loathing. I would hope maybe that he's having some self-loathing. He's reflecting on the fact that he is screwed up. His messaging is screwed up, and he knows that he is purposely lied to his people in the most obvious way possible. Even attacking Julian Assange, of all people. Julian Assange, most credible journalist around. Attacking Julian Assange as being a Trumper because why is there no articles on Trump? Why is there no corruption articles of Trump? I guess he favors Trump. That's why he met with Paul Manafort. That was all crap. That was all crap. And the reason why Julian Assange would not publish articles about Trump, and trust me, Julian Assange would publish articles about Trump, is because Trump had nothing to do with politics at the time that he's writing these articles. Trump had nothing to do with sending troops to Afghanistan for 20 years. Trump had nothing to do with sending people to a mass surge invasion of Iraq. Trump had nothing to do with that. Trump had nothing to do with the torture programs that were infiltrated by Barack Obama. We had to torture some folks. Trump was just a real estate buffoon in New York City at the time. He had nothing to do with any of that. But you know who did get involved with that? Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Condoleezza Rice, the Bush campaign, Dick Cheney who endorsed Kamala Harris. How good of a strategy that was. Get two of the biggest warmongers on planet Earth that should be serving jail sentences to their death right now to openly support Kamala Harris. I think that is the wake-up call that bit them in the ass. You would think. But no, they're going to continue this tirade.
Anyone else? Well, brothers and sisters, nobody said life was fair. So we got to go fight that mainstream media. We got to destroy that mainstream media that is filled with lies on top of lies about how the politicians are so honest and the donors have no control over policy. They have 100% control over policy. Everyone in mainstream media is a liar who goes, oh, well, here's a bill. Well, I'm not going to talk about the donors at all. Oh, I think they're having an ideological debate. Oh, look at that. The donor class won the ideological debate again, but I won't call them the donor class. I won't tell you that it's corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats that are playing good cop and bad cop against you the entire time. So these Democratic leaders are the most useless people on earth. If they're not all fired, the Democratic Party is out of its mind. So as the voters, you have to understand, those guys have a vested interest in protecting their own ass and protecting their money and their privilege and their status. You need to fire them. They're not going to fire themselves. You think Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Kamala Harris, and all these people go, oh yeah, I got Jamie Harrison at DNC. Oh yeah, I guess we were the problem. You think the Democratic consultant class that have been robbing you blind this entire time is going to go, oh, I guess we were the problem. No, you have to fire them. So the next time that some son of a bitch on MSNBC or in the Democratic Party tells you, oh no, be a good boy and girl, be civil, and vote for Democratic leaders. They know what they're doing. Those are the same goddamn liars that told you that Joe Biden was totally fine. That he was.
Again, it's very hard to believe this compelling story that he's spewing to his audience here. You gotta fire them. You gotta be the ones to take them out. When the entire organization, TYT, has demonized people for critiquing the Democrats. They did a full surge rage against people that were critically analyzing AOC and her misgivings. The fact that AOC has been a plant, has been an asset for the Democratic establishment. She wasn't going to change anything. She just cozied right up to people like Nancy Pelosi. People critiqued that out, and people like Cenk Uygur pounced on those people. Pounced on people that are critical of Bernie Sanders, and rightfully so, they should be. They should be critical of the fact that this guy, bring on the revolution. Well, where's that revolution, Bernie? Billionaires and billionaires. We got to protect Joe Biden. He's a friend of mine. So the guy that's leading you into the slaughterhouse, to use that analogy, is now angry that the slaughterhouse exists. That's what I'm seeing here. The guy who purposely, falsely led you and guided you into the slaughterhouse to attack you and villainize you, to force you into that, is now angry that slaughterhouse exists. That, oh, the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment, they're not in the best interest of you. Yeah, no shit. No shit. And what have you done to your audience? You just pulled them right in. You pulled them right in and shoved them into that disregard. And now you expect sympathy because you're going to cry on cue about, I feel Kamala Harris lied to those people. This is a guy who took $24 million from one of the biggest Democrat donors in California, Jeffrey Katzenberg, to create this online outsider news platform that exactly sounds and spells exactly like typical legacy media. So, Cenk Uygur, while you're saying that these outlets are purposely lying for their best interest, you've done the exact similar thing. You are part of that same swamp. You are part of that same problem. And the only reason this guy is having this major dilemma, screaming to his audience, how dare you, oh my God, the only reason he's doing that is because he's caught in his own lies. He's having this self-loathing moment, and he realizes, I hope he realizes, I don't know if things are going to change or if he's going to have this kind of revelation. He realizes that he screwed up. His network screwed up. Maybe all the lies and falsehoods that you tried to demonize people with to prop up the Democratic establishment, thinking it was going to change, was worthless. And that's why people like me, like others that you've attacked and demonized, went after the Democratic establishment. Because you know they're not going to change. They're not going to change unless you viciously critique them, unless you actually go after them and hold them accountable and punish them when they do wrongdoing, which is why Kamala Harris lost a lot of people, is because people wanted to punish the Democratic Party for supporting a genocide, for taking tax money to blow up other countries and say they're for working class values. We care about each other, the love, the diversity. We want to support the LGBTQ, blah, blah, blah. How can you believe that when you have a party that's obviously sending money to slaughter people, slaughter mothers and children overseas, and yet they want to care about women's rights?
Young, and he was dynamic behind the scenes, and it wasn't a problem at all. At that point, he was down 8 points nationally. He was getting slaughtered. He was down by 18 in Iowa, and I could go on and on. They've been lying to you the whole time. If you're on the left, you're a Democratic voter. Wakey, wakey. I need to wake you up out of the hypnosis that you're in, that Morning Joe and The View and all of mainstream media has put you in. They're lying to you. Why do you think they keep losing? Do you think they keep telling you how smart they are and how they're going to deliver you victories? And all they ever do is deliver loss after loss after loss. So Democratic voters, snap out of it. These guys are obvious liars. Fire them all. Fire them all. And if you don't, okay, then keep losing to buffoons, to obvious con men like Donald Trump. Keep losing and losing and losing and never figuring it out. Here, I solved it for you. I figured it out. It's a goddamn corruption. All the stupid donor money, all it's ever done is lead to more losses. So if you don't fire them, you have no one to blame but yourself. Young Turks will be back.
Well, I can't say this enough. I think if there's ever a U2 dramatic award, I think this is the top contender here. Oh man, you know, for those who have never seen TYT, this is like a reveling. You think this would be a revelating moment, but for people that understand the backings of all this and understand why they are the network that they are, why exactly they built up this audience and reputation to feel like they're an outside organization when they're really not. You know, it's basically the same way that the Daily Wire pretends to be this outside organization. Oh, Ben Shapiro's an outside organization. Even though all he does is prop up the Republican side of things, just like how TYT is propping up Democrats. They're not outside organizations. They get huge donations from big top donors of these two parties. They work inside the duopoly, and they lied to you to protect the duopoly. Because if Cenk Uygur meant a damn word of anything he said there, why did he viciously attack people that were supporting Force the Vote? That would have actually challenged people. That would have actually challenged the Democratic base. That would have actually recognized how corrupted these institutions really are. You got to hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. Saying we're not going to vote for you. We're going to hold back our vote for Speaker of the House until you get us Medicare for all on the floor. They failed to do so. And people like Cenk Uygur said, well, you get give him a thing. You get the other guy. And what happened? They got it anyway. What kind of argument is that? Now you just made a possible win-win into an ultimate lose. You've lost all the way down to the end yard. And then you go on this tirade post-election and you wonder why Kamala Harris didn't do so well, why all the polling was lied to you, and how Donald Trump still continues to surge after all the malicious ploys that they used against him. I hope that maybe this message, maybe Cenk Uygur took this in time to actually do some self-reflecting, but I think that maybe this is just another theatrical ploy to, again, make believe people to think that, again, this is an outsider organization, even though they get huge amounts of donations by people like Jeffrey Katzenberg, top Democrat donor list, top corporate capture of outsider media like this, and that is why they report the garbage that they do, and why people like me on a shoestring budget podcast like this is going to give you the straight dope and could easily spot the wolf in sheep's clothing.